talked about him enough. Nah, nobody likes him, do they? Nah, I can't be bothered.
Please make a video on Toy Story 2 for the PS1.
Okay, fine, fucking hell, stop going on at me! My god, you're not the real Captain America! You're a real person! You are a YouTube commenter!
You are one sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Alright, there's no need to be so aggressive, I'm doing it now, okay?
So, how would you feel about reviewing Toy Story 2 on PS1?
I said I'm doing it now! Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to the Caddicarus show, where I always have to do the deciding whether or not things deserve to be slaughtered or salvaged. And enough with the introductions, because if you've been in the YouTube comment section of my videos for more than 5 minutes, this game does not need an introduction. I've been asked to cover Toy Story 2 more than my own feet have touched the floor. However, the funny thing about that is that I've noticed that whenever someone asks me to talk about Toy Story 2, they actually say the name wrong, and they write the name wrong. Game's not called Toy Story 2. It's called Toy Story fucking 2. So unfortunately, yes, as we begin this video, my opinions and the entire internet's opinions on this game aren't a secret, and there will be no moments of me raging to the sky. The main reason people keep asking me to discuss TS2 on PS1 is because it's RGF. Really good fucking. This game is the perfect example of how to do a movie tie-in game perfectly, and that doesn't necessarily mean the game itself is flawless and perfect, because it really isn't, but as a PS1 movie tie-in and a game for kids, it nails everything it needs to. As a game, it's a really tightly controlling collectathon where you need to explore levels, fight bosses, unlock power-ups, revisit stages and complete tasks to earn tokens to continue, and with it being made with kids in mind, is one of the simplest to grasp and most accessible collectathons ever made without being insultingly easy. As a movie tie-in, the visuals at the time were spot on to the art style of the movie and accurately recreated everything else. The levels and their designs are not just taken from the movie as themes, but are actually locations from the movie that you had to explore, lovingly recreated, and in some cases are actually mirrored perfectly. As you control Buzz, the abilities that you can use are exactly what you would expect him to do from the movies, and are things you always imagined being able to do yourself, and the original score couldn't be any more accurate to the visual design and the Toy Story universe. This disc captures everything about the movie it's based on in an interactive medium flawlessly, and it's a really fun game on its own. It appeals to fans of the movie and people just looking for a good game to play. Again, these don't make it the best game ever made or even the best PS1 game ever made, but for movie tie-ins especially, it certainly stands out with its level of quality as a video game and care and attention to detail on the thing that it's based on. As for the movie itself, it's one of my favourite Pixar movies of all time, and I very fondly remember going to watch it in the cinema when it came out, and then when we were driving home, I promptly vomited all over the car because I ate too much popcorn. So on the PS1 of all things, this game had a lot to live up to, and I find it immensely impressive that the game did manage to do justice against the movie. But enough of me sucking this game's nipples and whispering "who's your daddy" to it, let's just play the thing.
It is coming! It is coming!
Alright, well I didn't mean to suck your nipples that hard. I'm playing fucking Silent Hill! If anything, I'm just amazed to see that this game came from Traveller's Tales of all companies before they went and made... So here we have the menu with an instrumental version of a classic tune. As I said, this game is a 3D collectathon platformer. You run around, explore level after level, fight enemies to stay alive, and complete 5 tasks in each stage in order to grab Pizza Planet tokens to unlock more levels. These challenges are all the same basic idea, but with slight changes depending on the level. You get 1 token for finding 50 coins and returning them to Ham da Pig, 1 for finding 5 hidden things around the level and returning them to its owner, 1 for completing a level-specific puzzle platforming challenge, 1 for defeating a mini-boss, and 1 more for completing a timed objective, whether it's a race under certain conditions or a dash to grab things as fast as possible. However, unlike most other collectathons,
you are a toy!
And because of this, the design of this game from top to bottom is solely concerned with making you feel like one and cramming in as much adorably creative nonsense in the levels for you to navigate around that continues to solidify that sensation. Stuart Little 2 is kinda like this, but way more baby-friendly and restrictive in its mechanics, level design, and how Stuart interacts with the things around him. Here, they go all out. You'll be leaping around on bedroom desktops waiting for drawers to open, operating diggers so that you can leap out of the window and get a lift from the arms to a higher place, shooting lasers at lockpicks in order to climb inside shelves of fridges, avoiding worktop electric saws, shielding yourself from warring Buzz Lightyear and Zerg lasers on opposite ends of toy shop shelves, using suspended light bulbs and lights as climbing ropes, speeding across store checkouts before stomping on a Jack-in-the-Box at the end in a trolley to bounce you on top of a gumball machine, and traversing everyday locations that are mundane to you and I, but endless potential for adventure for a thing as small as a toy. It's also just good collectathon design as far as it goes anyway, and not just with taking advantage of the fact that you are tiny. In some climbing sections heading towards a Pizza Planet token or something else, you can activate shortcuts that will let you quickly and easily get back to where you were if you accidentally slip off. And to be honest, this is closer to Dark Souls than anything that the Insane trilogy fucking is. And in some instances, you can totally bypass longer routes of platforming challenges with a keen eye and a few skillful jumps. Some tokens and further parts of the level are completely locked out by boxed power-ups that can be released by helping Mr. Potato Head find a part of his body somewhere in the same stage that he appears in for that particular power-up, which then gives you a great excuse to revisit previous stages with the new ability you acquired and finish everything off in a fresh and new part of the stage you haven't yet explored. Well, you know, unless you want to do this RC race in Andy's neighborhood when instead of using the rocket boots that you can unlock, you just run ahead and bump into the front of him for the whole track so he'll never overtake you. That works perfectly well. To be fair, these aren't the greatest inclusions of power-ups I've ever seen in a game. A few times they do have multiple uses, like the rocket boots getting you out of deep water or speeding you around a large airport, but most of the time they are as situational as anything, acting more as keys to other collectibles instead of proper extensions to Buzz's abilities. And you can only use them for a limited time whenever the power-ups are available to use in that stage.
Hey, over here, Buzz!
Potato Head, are you okay there? Do you need any help? Well, why aren't you falling over? Well, I guess you don't need me to go and get your shoe for you because it seems to me like you've mastered the art of the crane.
And your son.
Speaking of, this is something that just makes no fucking sense to me. The point of the game and the movie, actually, is for Buzz and a few other toys to retrieve Woody after he was stolen by Al the sweaty, cheesy toy collector. So if that's the case, why the fuck do my own toy friends who are also trying to help me find Woody actively hide away Pizza Planet tokens that we desperately need to continue to find Woody? If you think about it, the gang already have most of the tokens to themselves. They're just sick twats that would rather watch Buzz run around in circles through wet cement picking up wrenches and under a time limit than just give us the fucking things and move on to save their best friend. What the hell is wrong with these toys? In fact, when we get to the Al's penthouse level, we even get to meet Jessie and Bullseye face to face. You know, who Woody was hanging out with at that part of the film. Where is he? Let him out of wherever you stuffed him inside right now and give me back my beloved hanky. And Buzz, for the love of Christ, watch where you're going when you grab a token and choose to exit the level, because when you fly up to the sky, I don't think you realise what's above you half the time.
To infinity and be.
In fact, why do we need tokens in the first place? What did they do? What's stopping us from just running from the house all the way to Al's penthouse and finally to the airport on our own? Video games fucking suck. These visuals, though, they really do not suck. For PS1 standards, they're fantastic. The animations, the colours, the character models, they are all either lovingly accurate to the movies or fit perfectly in with the Toy Story universe. Like I said, Al's penthouse is indeed one of the levels, and that's not all you get to go to. The entire game, while loosely based plot-wise to the movie, is entirely based on the movie with its level locations and the order they appear in the movie. And they complement the level design beautifully. Wait a second, how did that happen? The bathroom was full of water 5 seconds ago and then it just vanished. And furthermore, why didn't the water escape from this hole earlier? It wasn't closed up. Who did this? I bet it was Ham. I bet it was Ham. Yes, sneaky swine. I'll get him for that. You get to go everywhere from the backyards of your neighbours to the shafts of elevators and even inside Andy's house. Wait, Andy's house? Not Andy's mum's house. It's his house. Is he paying the mortgage? Doesn't sound like a very wise idea to me if you run around like this all the fucking time. As you play, you don't just feel like Buzz Lightyear, you feel like Buzz Lightyear going through Toy Story 2, exploring through all of the level-specific obstacles and threats, and they all feel completely different and inclusive because of those things. You encounter a few of the same enemies in different levels, but in the way that the levels are built, structured, and the kinds of things that you can swing on, bounce on, and climb up, they're all totally unique and give you different evolving challenges constantly. It's not just visual variety for the sake of it. I love little details in any video game, and here is no exception. The burning laser particle effects bouncing off of the scenery, the adorable lens flare effect against Buzz's helmet whenever a harsh light is against it, the arcade in the Spaceland store actually having moving images on them when in most games they'd be just black screens. The game is completely alive and looks great even today. It might look good for the time, yes, but it's also crazy to see how far we've come in under 20 years. It's fucking amazing. To go with this is the soundtrack with some of the greatest platforming music the PlayStation ever had the pleasure of processing. They match the mood of each stage brilliantly, they're atmospheric while catchy at the same time, they all use a variety of instruments and sometimes even orchestral backing, they're layered, cleverly phrased and written to be repeated with slight variations so they don't get boring, and there's nothing else I can say that you can't hear yourself, so just listen to it and cry. This soundtrack was also composed by the same people that did the Bugs Life soundtrack and even the Wrath of Cortex itself, and their level of quality is pretty fucking consistent over most of their games. Sound effects are punchy, bassy, and gratifying as well, although they may have gone a little overkill with the voiceovers. They are handy in the stages whenever you're looking for one of the 5 hidden things because they all have sound cues or even visual cues if they blend in with the level a bit, and it gives you a great idea where character quests are if you haven't found the characters yet. But there's only so many times I can hear Buzz humping the stairs before it gets a little bit silly.
Fucking hellham, if you need money that badly, why don't you come and get me yourself, you fat, greedy, piggy slot fucker?
All of the levels have something worth discussing, but most of the awesome and clever shit it does is shown off from you just looking at it. My favourite level as a kid was always Al's Toy Barn, since there are 3 Potato Head power-up challenges to go through in totally different terrain for you to reach collectibles. The music is ridiculously upbeat and jolly, and it gets you in the mood to browse a Toys R Us. You ride skateboards over messy floors, jump on trampolines onto the top of trolleys, and dude, come on, it's a toy shop, it's fucking great! This is the level you also unlock the rocket boot power-up from Potato Head after you go and retrieve his arm because it fell off from too much
masturbation.
You then have Elevator Hop, an incredibly cool level and the only one like it in concept, but easily the most challenging in the game. Here you have a hugely steep elevator shaft with many air ducts branching off the side of it, and in order to climb to the top and find all the challenges up there, you must jump back and forth between alternating elevators, and that's fine enough, but many of the challenges you need to complete involve putting yourself in situations where you would fall all the way down to the bottom if you mess up. In the mission where you need to find the 5 baby mice, look at this one here! You need to grab it while it's moving above the tallest level in the game. And don't get me started on this one in the control room on the ceiling.
I can't fucking get you. I can't fucking get you. It's fucking too long. I can't jump up there and he's moving. I got hit in my head. There's not enough room to jump. I can't get you. Oh, please go.
Be extra careful as well whenever you jump into a shaft from the elevator, because if you don't pay attention to the back of the shaft itself to see if it's sloped or not, then you'll fall all the way down. Fun! It was for this reason alone why the Spider Gunner boss terrified me when I was little, because A, it's a spider, and B, because he wasn't just at the tip top of the elevator, but also could knock you into the middle and throw you all the way down to the bottom again.
Thank God there's no fall damage or else I'd crap.
However, an observant eye for discovery will notice that there's a shortcut switch to the top of the elevator shaft if you do fall down, and you watch this and tell me it isn't hypnotically satisfying to fly back up to the top. Look at Buzz go. Actually, talking about that spider, these Zerg soldiers used to terrify me as a kid too, so much in fact that I would never go near the areas that they guarded.
Yes, I was a fucking wuss, leave me alone. The penultimate stage, Tarmac Trouble, I just found a little bit disappointing. It's a big open circular level with numbered stations where you need to climb a flagpole, jump onto a plane, and then jump from the other wing of the plane to access all of the hidden stuff on those stations. A cool idea yet again, but once you're done on each station, you then either have to wait for the plane again, or jump down and climb the flagpole to get on the plane again and wait for the next station, and that can get repetitive and tedious. I honestly think this could have been fixed if there were 2 planes going around in circles, and to be honest, Alleys and Gullies is my least favourite stage overall, not because it's badly made or incompetently designed, but it does have the most wrong with it in my opinion. This umbrella and fruit stall part that you need to do to reach one of the 5 ducklings to collect is basically fucking luck based, and every mistake you do means you have to slowly clamber right back up to that part again. And once you get the grappling hook, fuck climbing up these apartment balconies. They are the thinnest platforms in the entire game. There are tons of electrical wires to slide from that at some point will either hit you or distract you and make you jump to another thing which you then miss, and there's no shortcuts to get anywhere near the top again apart from one shortcut near the bottom of the apartments. Thanks, game. Let's not even begin to consider why the stove is on and something is left cooking in Andy's house. What the fuck is wrong with Andy's mother? Is she trying to murder her entire family and burn the evidence?
Damn, wouldn't you know I neglected to mention the controls? Silly me. Well, let's do that right now then. You know how the Batman Arkham games are really good at making you feel like Batman? Well, Toy Story 2 on PS1 makes you feel like Batman.
The control is on the fucking nuggets, man. It feels so good to play. Buzz zips around extremely responsively to your analog or button inputs, but he never runs too fast. He has a great amount of weight and momentum to his running and jumping, and you don't have much control of the camera unless you're standing still, but honestly, I never found it a problem, since whenever you're running around, the camera is pretty good at knowing the best place to position itself, and if not, just stand still for a very quick second and it will quickly swoop back behind you. Every mistake I made feels like it was my fault, aside from a couple of obscure camera angles, because of how tight and smooth the control is. Buzz can pull himself off, fuck that wasn't right. Buzz can pull himself up to ledges, double jump with his wings, giving you not only a great ability but also an extremely cool sound effect from the films to accompany it. Stomp to activate switches, activate bouncy pads, and of course if you're doing a thin platforming section, cancel out your jump in the middle of it so that you'll land directly where you press the button. He can climb up particular vertical poles, he can swing around and fly to other horizontal poles, attack with the same wings that he uses to double jump in a spin attack, which I honestly never found that useful until you're up against an armoured enemy. The same goes for the super spin move that leaves you dizzy afterwards. And easily my favourite move, Buzz uses his laser. It's a ranged attack, it can be rapidly spammed over and over again if your thumb is quick enough. The auto-locking it has towards the direction of an enemy is great, it feels and looks great to see enemies tear into pieces or explode whenever you destroy them with it, and the sound effects for the laser are just divine. The laser can also be held down for a singular charge shot like Mega Man X, which is fantastic for bosses and mini-bosses, unless they deflect lasers and then you need to spin them. And even that super laser has a satisfying crunchy destruction noise whenever you use it. In the stages you can also find this limited pickup of a green laser, which is a held down automatic rapid fire constant supercharge laser that rips through enemies like a 1000 degree knife. And not only is it the coolest fucking thing in the entire game and a proper reward for you looking around that actually helps you everywhere, it also sounds like this. Want to feel more like Buzz? Then just flip yourself into first person mode, where the detail even extends to Buzz's reflection in his helmet. Targeting enemies and objects is easy, and the lock-on feature that darts you towards something that you hover over and doesn't let go until you destroy what you've targeted makes for some fast, fluent, and awesome enemy dispatching in first person. It feels so good to quickly click inside the helmet, speed towards the threat, smack another button to snap straight onto the thing when the reticle highlights and laser it away swiftly, and the fact that many enemies are better dealt with this gives me way more reason to use it and feel good about it. Is there a reason to go after all the Pizza Planet tokens? Well, yes, at the time, but maybe not now. If you didn't own the VHS or DVD of the film when this game came out, you could unlock tons of FMV scenes of the movie from beating levels and ultimately get rewarded with a special final clip for finishing everything, which is a decent reward even though the music is completely different and the voice quality is
Do you want a candle stick or something you can put on that? Because I know what was on that there. I had a box of cookies once it came back.
rather disgusting.
Hey, are you both supposed to keep on screaming? Why did you stop?
None of the clips also show off the fact that Stinky Pete, one of the main villains of the film, indeed even is a villain that goes through an arc of some kind, and he's the final boss of the game. So yeah, if you know the story of the film beforehand, none of this means anything, but as far as giving your players motivation to stop a big baddie and save your buddy, nah. Once Al's parts are out of the way since you saw him steal Woody, the drive vanishes, and then all of a sudden you just find Woody after going to an airport, and oh, there's a bad guy!
Although there are no in-engine cutscenes or anything like that trying to stitch together some sort of loose narrative around the movie or anything like that. It's not a focus whatsoever. And that's fine with me. The clips of the movie are just rewards for being good at playing the game. And if you didn't own the VHS or DVD at the time, like I said, pretty cool reward, honestly. This is a game that's focused mainly on the gameplay and the journey that you have from the beginning to the end when you go to find your friend, and not much else, and that's fine with me. It's not really concerned with the light of Buzz Lightyear. Sorry, I mean the plight of Buzz Shite. Fuck!
You wanna know who the true villain of this game is? Well, I'll tell you. It's this chicken in Hal's toy barn. Why? Because this paltry bastard locked up one of his own sons in an egg for a time trial platforming minigame while his wife is freaking out about her missing kids in another aisle. What a sick, abusive, dicking nugget. I mentioned earlier that this was one of the most accessible collectathon platformers I've ever played, and I mean that. It's perfect for those looking for a comfortable good time, i.e. the kids that this was probably aimed at, and those looking for an extra challenge at the same time, i.e. the older crowd. For the kids, you don't need that many tokens to reach the end of the game, and since the ham coins are placed extremely selectively in the stages, whenever you see even a single one on its own, they usually indicate something of value is wherever they are, meaning that the secrets are still subtly hidden but not impossible to find. Then for the older crowd, you have climbing the tree in level 2, which is an amazing example of the accessibility since it is a massive challenge to do, absolutely, but not required to finish the game. There's lots of other things to do on the ground level of this stage, so you need to master the controls and mechanics in order to reach one of the 5 soldiers, and of course the Zerg kite boss at the top of the tree. And then it's just a case of beating the fucking thing without being knocked down, and oh shit, well, down I go. The same applies to the construction site. I could never reach the top of this thing as a kid, and when I did, it then made the jackhammer boss at the top of the metal frame intense for my younger self, because that evil face was gonna knock me right back down to the bottom again. In fact, this is really odd. The mini bosses I don't really care about in the relevance of the story. I mean, they're part of the game itself, but the 5 main bosses have nothing to do with Toy Story 2, aside from Zerg and Stinky Winky Poo Pants Pete. Even the secondary upgraded Buzz from the movie thought that would be a cool main boss. Well, no, he's relegated into a fucking buggy mini-boss for the Spaceland, and as quick as he's introduced, he's dead. Bugger off, buggy bugger. Oh yes, Zerg though, he's something else. Let's start his stage. Oh, it's quiet in here. Where's he hiding?
It's Zerg!
There he is! Also, the game as a whole took me about 3 hours to complete 100%. Only 3 hours, yeah. I mean, as a kid, it took me a lot longer than that, and this was the first video game I ever finished 100%, so...
That's a very cherished memory of mine.
And what better game could I have picked to 100% for my first time? Yeah, it's short and it has its issues, obviously, but I still think it's an underappreciated hidden gem of a PS1 classic, and for a movie tie-in, that says quite a lot. If you want to pick this game up, I would recommend it if you're young or old. There's something in here for everybody, and because of that, this game today gets the salvage. Actually though, do you know who else gets the salvage today? You. The audience.
Okay, I'm really sorry for the cheesy transition. I didn't mean to make that as sappy as it was supposed to sound, but I really did have to thank each and every single one of you for clicking on this video if you're not a fan, and I hope you enjoyed the video and anyway. And of course, all the people that have stayed subscribed to my channel for ages and ages and ages now. I hope I'm doing something right to keep you guys staying. You guys are keeping the channel alive as much as all of my Patreon supporters, who, all of them on the screen here in the credits. Oh my god, I can't even describe how much you're helping. Even if you're just donating $1 a month, I can't thank each and every single one of these people enough for the amount of support and generosity that they're giving towards the channel in YouTube's darkest moments with the adpocalypse and obviously copyright abusiveness and everything. It means so much to me. I can't even describe how much it means to me personally. It really, really is incredible, and I can't thank any single one of you enough. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I've got a couple of benefits in there for you if you do choose to do that. Just go into the description or at the very end of this video, there'll be a link straight to the page there. And of course, it is completely 100% optional. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. It's entirely up to you what you choose to do. And I'd like to thank some of the top Patreon supporters who I can't even believe how generous that they have been towards supporting this channel and keeping everything afloat. So special thanks to Crash Rocks 1419, Omar Matu, Patrick Ferguson, Karsten, Josh and Amit Play, Gamer Man with an H on the end, Nicole Gunara and Andy Ellis. I've got nothing else to say. This isn't scripted, as you could tell, because I wanted everything to come out as naturally as possible, but I'm very bad at expressing gratitude because it's just so amazing. It's so amazing. So until the next video, if it is your birthday today or watching this video, happy frickin' birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful.